We're going to be talking to him. It's Mike Wozniak, a current contestant on Taskmaster, a wonderful contestant, an odd man, a lovely man, a great man. Mike, you are a highly requested guest on the Taskmaster podcast, of course, because you're in the current series, kicking up a fuss, causing a storm.
That's right. Always causing a storm. Stirring the soup.
I would say absolutely not causing a storm, in the sense that I think you might be one of the most polite Taskmaster contestants of all time. You seem very at ease. You're very happy with...
It's on the telly, isn't it? You got to be... You can't be effing and jeffing and busting out salty language if you're going to be on the telly. I think some people don't realise it's being broadcast, this stuff.
Well, that's I wasn't told that, and I was an absolute horrible little beast.
Oh, there we go. There we go. You learned your lesson the hard way.
I did. You're on best behaviour, Mike.
I am on best behaviour. I've worn my smartest, party clothes. There I am. I've brushed my teeth.
Which is sort of what I imagine you do on a day off anyways, to go to a disused aircraft hangar.
Oh, of course, yeah, but normally there's no one else about. Do you know what I mean? There's just me and a couple of rabid voles, yeah, to hang out with, and we try and avoid the eagle owl that's roosting there, and we have a bit of a laugh. But one of us invariably gets caught, and it's still very sad.
Yeah, but that's the game. That's the game, isn't it? That's where you go.
Don't hate the player, is what I say to the owl.
Don't hate the eagle.
Yeah.
This is great, Mike. I mean, this is what I'm loving about this series, is to have the true flavour of Mike Wozniak fully introduced to the world at large, because I've been tasting the flavour for a while now.
You know, well, you've swirled it about, haven't you?
I've swirled it about on many an occasion.
Yeah.
So things like TickTock, you don't stop, anything time, a regular catchphrase.
They seem to trot out too much, I would say. Yeah. Too much, because I think when you watch yourself back, because I've very rarely done anything that's been recorded where it's just me. Normally it's a character, and then you watch yourself back, and I don't know. Sometimes you go about the world and you assume that you might use different words and phrases rather than just, as it turns out, a few stock phrases to express 90% of your thoughts. So I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit, I think. Yeah.
No, I think
it's
you've got to
very
keep,
revealing.
at least something time. At least with that, you're switching up the word. It's just whatever's in front of you. It's that time.
Yeah. That's but it's the sort of when you don't realise that you had a tick all along. Yeah.
But I could have told you said TikTok, you don't stop.
You
every
didn't,
4
though,
seconds.
did you?
No, I didn't, because I was enjoying it too much.
No one told me.
I'm going to ask you another question now, Mike, and
right.
I hope that you weren't joking about this.
Right.
Do you really drink that amount of milk?
Oh, yeah. Easily.
What was it, 36 pints a
I think 37,
week
I
of milk?
think. It was a month. It was a month. I'm not crazy. I do get through a lot of milk. Yeah, I had to estimate that quite quickly. And I think I went, if anything, conservative, because my first estimate, I thought, no, come on. And then I recalculated. I thought, no, yeah, I think that's about, I get through it. Oh, I get through it all right. Yeah.
We had a lot of emails about that, amazingly.
Oh, nice.
And a lot of people needed clarifying what type of milk, whether you're mixing up the milks or
yak.
are we talking whole... Straight yak.
Straight yak.
You're the only... You're keeping the yak milk market afloat in this country.
Well, when someone gives you a yak for a wedding present, you don't want to waste it. We live in difficult times.
Yeah.
My kingdom for a roomier garden, but she's very tolerant. The kids absolutely love her.
It was 3 points for your symbolic nipple, 4 points for Sarah's stud finder. Although we call Sarah the stud finder now because last week she revealed on the podcast that you've got a lovely body, and we had a lot of messages about that as well, Mike.
Did you really? Right, I'm sorry about that. Well, there's been a lot of water under the bridge then. Maybe she caught me at my peak. Well, she may have also caught me at a time when she'd only just been released from lockdown herself. You got to remember. And it was very hot. You know, she's seeing me coming off the M4 in a sort of mirage of car fumes and she's starved of company. And there he is, a man in some flip flops.
Don't do yourself down, Mike, because you have a lovely body, your lovely little taut swimmer's bod, right? And the fact is, quite often you wear a lovely suit on stage and you wear a suit in Taskmaster and all of that. So on the rare occasion someone might see you in a T-shirt, it's always a little surprise to see you've got lovely arms. Hello.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, Ed. I fear I've let myself
go. The pocket rocket that's underneath that tweed.
I fear I've let myself go since then, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be objectified by you. I haven't experienced that. It's been a long time since you've given me a really good assessment, physical assessment.
Don't worry, I don't need to do it anymore. I very much passed the baton on to the internet.
Okay,
because I'm not sure you're aware, Mike. You are a sex symbol now. Bad luck. But I fear that may be destroyed by this episode, which we'll come to later.
Yeah, there's some ice cold water is going to get poured on that. Yeah.
Well, before we talk about the official first task, it's the task that's just for you, Mike. Here we go. Fart. Fastest wins. Your time starts now.
Yeah.
Obviously, this had to be on a plane. Where else could it be? Was there any inkling when this was given to you that you might be the only person who was asked to do it?
No, not for a moment. And because they do pop up, don't they? But very rarely on the show.
Yeah.
I was struggling to think when they have come up before, but it didn't. And in fact, far from it, because during, particularly that first couple of hours, I would say, when the crew sort of abandoned me, I comforted myself by thinking, I wonder what Lee's going to do about it. Interesting to see how Sarah handles this. And I was just, as I tried 1,001 different positions and brewing techniques from my past. The mind was occupied by wondering what other people's attitude and approach might be. And I was particularly having then, finished with something of a fall from grace, because sort of wondered, well, at least I won't be alone in this. Yeah. There was comfort from that too.
This is throughout the episode. We come back to you attempting to squeeze one out. Did they genuinely leave you to it then? You were the only person...
Yeah, I mean, Alex stuck by me for a while, bless him. He's a supportive soul.
Yeah.
And after a while, there began to be some quite earnest conversations about, okay, well, such and such could probably do with a bit of lunch, and he needs a toilet break and whatever. And well, we could actually just rig up a couple of cameras here and here, and just leave them on there, as long as he doesn't knock them off. Mike, you're not going to knock these off. We're going to put some cameras up here, and we're actually. Oh, you're going? We're just going to go and we'll check in on you in a couple of hours and see how you're getting on.
Absolutely devastating.
I see that now.
Because technically, if you read it really to the letter of the law, you wouldn't have been able to use paints. You could only use your feet. You would have just had to rely on anything that was already on your feet.
Slice your feet open with a sharpened toenail.
Yeah.
And just you smear the blood and whatever chunks of flesh you might be able to pick off from your heel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way you could have done it properly.
Thank God I didn't think of that at the time. Otherwise, that is what I would have done.
And you know what? I fully believe that. You're the only Taskmaster contestant pretty much in history that I believe would have sliced open their own foot with their sharpened toenail.
Well, it said so in the task.
I think you and Lee are a really nice team. I think you listen to each other. You get on with things. I think you explaining what a tag is to Lee Mack might be the most middle-class and middle-aged thing I've ever witnessed. Imagine you being the one who knows the lingo.
If you've got some street glossary, you use it. Tag, street tough, ne'er-do-well. I know them all.
Street tough. That might be what got you the points. Street, and I love that Lee had to immediately blame street tough on you. He was like, just before we go any further, Mike wrote street tough.
He sold me down the river on that one. That's true. But
as if we needed that explaining. As if anyone saw that and thought, oh, Mike might not have written that. Of course he wrote street tough.
Other than that, we were a united front. And, we loved it.
But there's a lot to be discussed about the definition of licking. Sarah, obviously, going more... Is a tongue... I mean, you're a doctor. Is a tongue probe, does that still exist within the world of lick?
I think licking can be a spectrum. I feel like in my time I've been licked softly and I've been licked more firmly, and vice versa. So I think there's quite a broad spectrum.
He stamped on the wallet
Oh, it's beautiful. It was a
and found the
beautiful moment.
receipt. But Mike, I know you're going to have a go at me for being too
He's
pernickety now.
cool and fresh like a spring onion, that man.
He really is.
It was beautiful to see.
And then you reveal in the studio that it was a hemorrhoid popping out.
Well, I think my first thought, I probably rushed to the same conclusion that many people did in that first
You shit
nanosecond.
yourself,
But even very quickly after that, there was already the sensation that it wasn't so much that something had been expelled in its entirety, more that there had been a change.
Yeah.
A change from which I was not coming back, and then a cursory inspection of things confirmed there was an amount of blood, shall we say. Luckily, I did have with me a spare pair of pants, which I brought. I don't know about you, but I brought a spare pair of pants with me every single Taskmaster day. Spare pair of pants, spare shirt, spare pair of socks. Just because you never quite know what's gonna. There've been people falling off boats in the past, and.
Yeah.
So I had a lovely fresh pair of pants.
Did production know that that's what had happened until you revealed it in the studio? Was that a shock to everyone?
I don't think so. I think it's the kind of thing where no one really wanted to know anymore, thanks very much, because they'd drawn their own conclusions.
Yeah.
And they were quite happy for me to disappear, make myself scarce. No one harassed me. No one. I was given a respectful amount of time to go and do whatever it is that I needed to do.
Yeah.
And then, I think I had a lovely cup of tea and a biscuit, and everyone felt a lot better about it all. But it was a difficult drive home. I'll say that.
When I've seen it a few times now, because I saw it the first time. I was absolutely gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Called my girlfriend down, made her watch it.
Yeah.
Watched it again for this episode. When I watched it again for the episode, I went back and watched this moment again. I got goosebumps every single time because I knew that I was witnessing a great moment in the history of British comedy. It's very much,
and potentially a final moment in the career of a close friend. Yeah.
It's Blackadder goes forth over the top. It's Del Boy falling through the bar, and it's Mike Wozniak pops a hemorrhoid out on a plane.
But whereas Rowan Atkinson and the Only Fools and Horses team went on to glorious careers, we might be dealing with a brief spate of ads on ITV, and then that's it probably. Yeah.
One more final question from Colin.
Yeah.
Quite a simple one. What time is it?
What time is it? Well, okay, Colin, what time is it? The time where I am right now, there's a few times. It's podcast time. It's Ed Gamble time.
Yeah.
But also, well, that's what I thought. But TickTock, hang on, is Colin o'clock.
I think you could make maybe £500,000 a year on the bespoke video messaging service Cameo by just getting people to send you their names, and you say it's TickTock you o'clock, and they'd pay upwards of £30 for that per time.
Fine. So between that and the Ainsol sponsorship, then I'm pretty set, aren't I? That's not bad, is it?
Look, it's not the career you hoped for.
Sniffed at half. It wasn't plan A. It's plan anus, and that's just what I've got to deal with now.